Hello, my friend. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you about our friends over at usekilo.com. You've heard us mention them before on the podcast. It's because they're really the easiest way to automate your gym's lead follow-up, your website, your member retention, all the stuff that really matters so you can get back to doing what you like doing most, which is coaching your clients to be their best selves. So head over to usekilo.com and see how you can use their software to build a highly converting website using lots of automation to follow up with your leads and all the rest. That's really a one-stop shop for running your gym, and I couldn't recommend them more. So go check them out and let them know that we sent you. On today's episode, I'm back with Mr. Ben Pickard, and we're talking about some surprising ways to leverage your low bar offer or trial. So what we're going to do is we're going to unpack some creative tactics that you might not have tried yet to turn more of your trials into lifelong members. So grab a pen and paper and let's dive in. Hello, fitness business nerds. What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Business for Unicorns podcast. Today, I'm here with Ben. What's up, my friend?
Not much. I just got back from a wonderful whitewater canoe trip with some people in men's group.
Whitewater. This is like a serious rafting conditions.
Canoe rapids and rafting rapids, I think, are in different categories. Canoes aren't. It's not. Right. It's we're not like throwing canoes down waterfalls. It's like there's just like places with rapids and swifts and things that take a little bit more skill and preparation than paddling a canoe on a lake.
Wow. I'm only really built for paddling a canoe on a lake. So I'm going to take your word for it that that's a fun thing to do. But it sounds magical and also sounds Canadian as hell. So good for you.
Thanks.
Good for you. How long were you gone for?
We were 5 days total. It was really cool because it's on a river. Usually you do a trip where you park in one place and you like do a loop and you see a series of lakes. But this is rivers flow in one direction. So we took a train with all of our gear, including our canoes, up to this drop-off point. The train lets us off like in the wilderness with a sign that says access point. You dump your stuff in the canoe, or you dump your stuff in the water, put your stuff in the canoe. You're gone for 5 days. You end up somewhere completely different. And that just happens to be where you parked your car.
Wow.
So it was cool because the scenery changes every day.
That's so cool. Good for you. What a great adventure. And how did your business do while you were gone?
Totally fine. I mean, I say that we had a team member quit, but me being present wouldn't have changed the fact that they're switching careers.
Yeah.
And 24-hour difference isn't a huge deal. Alicia, I met with my GM today, and she's already got the job posting up and interviews booked, and all the things that you would do.
Yeah.
And aside from that, it's business as usual, which I'm, as we've talked about a lot, learning how to not let go in the sense that I don't care, but let go in the sense of I'm willing to relinquish to control to other competent human beings.
Yeah. Good for you. What a fun lesson for all of us. And, when you do, you get to do cool things like canoeing, down a river for 5 days. Like that's pretty cool.
Sitting around being anxious about my business doesn't change my business.
No, not at all. Not at all. Get on a canoe instead. I love that. Well, let's dive into today's topic. So today, one of the things that we want to talk about was we want to talk about low barrier offers. So we're going to talk about low barrier offers. We're going to talk about what they are for those of you who are kind of new to that terminology. A good refresher for those of you who already have a low barrier offer and use one. But we're also going to spend part of this conversation talking about some surprising ways, maybe some ways you haven't thought of to actually leverage and use your low barrier offer. So maybe to kick things off, Ben, you want to just talk to people about what the heck is a low barrier offer and what is it? What do you use it for?
Yeah, so it's synonymous with a trial, depending on, I don't know, where you learn the words. They're the same thing. It's a way for a person to try things out before they buy. Because often many of us sell, cancel anytime memberships are still a bit of a commitment. And if you do annual agreements, people might not be willing to sign up for a year if they haven't really given this a go. So your low barrier offer is just a usually affordable way for people to test out your services to make sure that this feels like the fitness home that they're going to hopefully love forever.
Yeah, it's really important. I think these days more than ever, people are so used to be able to like try things, and if they don't like it, send it back, or try things for 14 days before they have to break out, before they have to pay for anything. And I think the same thing goes for your gym membership. Is like, can you try out your trainer and your facility and building a routine for a week or two before you have to commit? Like everyone wants the opportunity to do that.
If Netflix is going to give me shows for 30 days before I got to pay them,
Yeah,
like, and that's a $20 service, they're going to
yeah.
expect it with the gym.
100%. Yeah. And we have a few low barrier offers that we recommend for most people. You want to just kind of walk through what some of our favorite kind of go to LBOs are?
Yeah, 100%. The go to for 99% of people listening is 2 weeks of unlimited training for $99 or less. But 99 or less seems to be the sweet spot. So if you do small group training and large group training, they get access to all of that. If you're doing small group training and maybe one-on-one, they can get access to all that. But it's meant to be a way for them to come like a higher frequency amount, because we know that once people start coming regularly, it actually is a change of behavior to stop coming. So we want them to get into some sort of, albeit short, routine. But for some people, that isn't perfect. So we do have kind of like a couple other ones that you can consider. But I say this like with a grain of salt, that I'd try 2 weeks for $99 before you switch.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. We picked that one because it does work for most of the gyms we work with most of the time. As Ben said, it's people don't need a whole month to decide whether or not they like your gym. They don't need 30 days. They don't need 21 days. They barely need 14 days. They know within a few visits whether or not you're the right fit. Right. Same thing when you go and drive a test car. Like, I don't need to drive the car across country to decide whether or not I really am going to buy this car. Right. I know within a few blocks whether or not it feels good, all the rest. And so I think 2 weeks for under $100 is kind of a sweet spot. But yeah, want to tell them about a few other things that we do recommend?
Yeah. So particularly for sports performance gyms, doing a free consultation or assessment can be a really good low barrier offer, because I can get people in, and it's, normally whatever, $99 or $199. It's free today, because then once they've started with the assessment that presumably ends with some sort of prescription on how to make the things you've assessed get better that they care about, it's an easy sell into an actual membership. That can also work well for kind of higher end one-on-one training gyms as well, where it's more, I'd say, more metric based and performance based than kind of like lifestyle and feelings. And another opportunity that's usually for like the large group gyms is doing your first week for free. So officially, this could work well for all training models, but particularly with large group, it tends to work better because it's usually a higher volume, lower price. Because the challenge you can run into is if you're a premium service that's $900 a month for 3 times a week one-on-one, and the first week is free, 0 to 900 is a lot. But if you're doing large group training for $189 unlimited, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I think that it's a really important point when you're designing your low barrier offer to make sure the leap from that first 2 weeks to what you're actually going to charge long term is not such a big leap that there's just no connection at all to that number. And so if you do offer, that's why for some of you we say 2 weeks for under 99. But for some of you, if you really have really high priced one-on-one training, you might want to do 2 weeks of visits for $149. But staying under that $100 mark means that it can be an impulse purchase for people, right? Yes. People usually don't have to go talk to their spouse if they're spending under $100, right? And so I think if you can keep it low, great. That's why it's called a low barrier offer. This should be an easy yes for people. So I think those are all great points. Yeah. So, I mean, we talk about creating a low barrier offer and deciding what the actual offer is a really good first step. There's a few other things we kind of have to do to make sure that this low barrier offer actually functions for our business. So you want to just walk through people the other steps we recommend?
Yeah. So you're definitely going to need a way to advertise this for people to find out about it. So the easiest example of this is doing a landing page. That could be at like on your on like the menu bar of your website, like start here or claim your trial, something like that. Could even be on like a talk to a coach page. But you're going to want to have something that lets people know that like, hey, this exists. Because, for instance, if you're a gym that posts your prices on your website and it's not easy to find what your low barrier offer is, people might self-select out based on price and be like, ooh, I don't know if I can pay $500 a month. Can I try this out? They need to be aware that like, here's how you can get started with this thing, with a lower barrier. One of those barriers being price, other barriers being scheduling, etc.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing about that before you move on, which is your website is a conversion tool for strangers, right? Your website is designed, your homepage of your website is designed to be kind of a squeeze page for people to find you through Google, through search, through ads. They land on this page and you have to make it really clear. Okay, now what do you want them to do? Right. And your low barrier offer is the thing you want them to do, right? Is the first step you want them to take. So yes, having a landing page is super important because you have to have some place where you can describe to them what this low barrier offer is, what's in it, what do you get for these $99 for 2 weeks. But also on your homepage, it's got to be really clear, big button at the top, like Ben said, right at the top above before you have to start scrolling, it has to be a really big old button that says, this is what I want you to do first, because your website is for strangers and people often get lost on that. Right. And so we've seen so many websites that are just so confusing because they're kind of designed for their existing clients, but your website is for strangers. It should make sense to someone who doesn't know anything about who you are. And you got to make it clear. The first thing I want you to do is try us out with this low barrier offer. Start here. Yeah.
Yes. All these questions about are we qualified and what can we do? All these will be answered if you just do our $99 low barrier offer.
100%. Sorry, I just want to jump in and throw fire on that idea because I think people often miss there. So let's just say people got a landing page. It's clear on their website. What else matters?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely want to link to it in your Instagram bio and on your socials, make it that the page that everybody is going to from everywhere that you put things. You could go as far as put it as QR codes on business cards or, if you're doing posters and B2B agreements, but basically anywhere your stuff is, your low barrier offer is the go-to call to action.
Yep.
But as we know, the same offer will eventually get stale. Obviously, we're hoping to convert people on a regular basis from this. But let's say someone's been on your email list for a while and you're consistent with email marketing, using the same offer all the time does tend to get a little bit tired for those people. Mm-hmm. So it is something that you want to review and rotate on a regular basis. And this doesn't have to be rocket science. A simple example of this is a change of that could be for former members, it's 2 weeks unlimited for $49. Or you could do a reactivation of even $1 for your first period of time. But you really are changing the price and you're sometimes changing the length. But those are really the two main levers off the top of my head that you can pull. But sometimes it doesn't even have to be anything different, because it's a point I've made with many members that seems to be paying off exceptionally well for them is you're not always just selling your low barrier offer. It's the thing they do once they're ready to make action. But you still need to hit the pain points of why they need to make action. Nobody's or very few people I can come 6 times-ish in 2 weeks for $99, that seems like good value. And I get these perks. You can make it your spring into spring offer or fall into fitness, all of those kind of cheesy things that we've seen a million times, but our prospects might not have. That can be rotating it, and it can be your summer promo. It's still 2 weeks for $99. You're just positioning it differently. What are different features? What are different benefits? Maybe you did post on social media that was all about nutrition and accountability, and it ended with, hey, did you know you get that as part of our low barrier offer? That might check the box for someone, because not everybody's I could use a 3-day-a-week personal trainer for this price point. They're coming to personal training for a reason. Everyone's reason is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I think it's really well said, my friend. I think that's why we recommend that, as part of your steps to designing your low barrier offer is making sure that you have a few that you can rotate through, because any offer, no matter what business it is or what kind of marketing channels are, what your marketing budget is, if you're making the same offer to the same group of people over and over and over and over again, it starts to be just like white noise. They just stop hearing it. If I've been on your Instagram page a million times and I've seen my first step is 2 weeks for $99 and it's been on there for 3 years, that same call to action, and I've never clicked it, I'm not going to start clicking it now. Right? It seems unlikely. You can motivate me with other content and maybe I will be motivated to click it, but sometimes changing the offer is the thing that motivates people to take action. So if I saw that one day that 2 weeks for $99 is now 2 weeks for $49, just for the month of July, that is newly motivating to me, right? It's a time-sensitive change to this low barrier offer, and now I'm going to take action. Or we say, hey, instead of 2 weeks for $99, it's 2 weeks for free if I bring a friend.
Yeah,
Well, that's exciting, right? So changing up the offer means you're gonna catch different fish, right? Different bait catches different fish, and so I think that it's really useful to switch it up from time to time, or else it just becomes like wallpaper. People just kind of stop seeing it, it fades into the background. Yeah.
Wallpaper. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
People just stop paying attention, all right. So I think that's a really good place to start with, like, what is low bar offer? What makes a good one, importance of a landing page, importance of rotating it out. And you started to get at some ideas I think we want to kick around even further, which is what are other ways that your low bar offer can come into play when it comes to your marketing and selling? And so let's just kind of generate a few more ideas about where else can this one offer that you make kind of be used in all the ways that you market. So I know you started to share a few, but keep on going, my friend.
Yeah, definitely in reactivations. That's a low hanging fruit, even though they've been a member before. And it's a little different. It's not like at that point, you probably have no like and trust if they've been with you for, let's say, a year, but then left for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be the thing that nudges them over the edge to coming back because they've probably been noticing that their health and fitness has been declining since they haven't been working with you.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I jump in and add to that as well? Which is,
please.
I think people often forget that your former members, many of them, if not most of them, for a lot of you listeners, they're still all around. Most of them don't move away. They're still around somewhere, and they know you exist, and they haven't come back yet, naturally, organically. And people forget we have to incentivize them to. We have to treat them like leads all over again. They're warmer leads, of course, right? But treat them like leads again and give them some motivation to return. And to Ben's point here, your low bar offer can be a great way to do that. They might not think that they're eligible to use your low bar offer. In some cases they shouldn't be, right? But if you make one for them and explicitly say, hey, for the month of July, all of you former members, you want to come back? Do our low bar offer, 2 weeks, $99. Come meet our new trainers, come check out our new equipment. We changed the space. We have a new approach to program design since you've been here last. Come try us out like you're brand new for 2 weeks, $99. That's exciting. That gives them a moment, some motivation to do it. Why now? Oh, because I can do this low bar offer for the month of July. That's exciting. Yeah. I just want to kind of fan those flames and remind people that is a great use of your LBO. And it's really important to incentivize your former members. They're not just going to always come back because they miss you.
No, even if they do, at least in the gem pop space, there's this prevalent feeling that the clients are letting down the trainers. So there's some guilt around coming back. And sometimes they just need that nudge to be like, all right, I'll do it.
100%. Yeah.
On a similar vein, also doing it with your unconverted leads. So it can be a little bit weird because if your lead just finished an LBO, you don't necessarily always want to offer them the same deal again and then the same deal again. But a few times a year, you could absolutely reach out to everybody who did a trial and didn't convert with some sort of like special trial offer that could be a version of your LBO.
Yeah. I love that idea, right? If we all have people who do our trial and then don't convert to a membership. And so as that list continues to build, how do you re-engage those people and say, hey, maybe it was timing last time. Let's try again. And offer them just a version of your LBO to come back. I love that idea. Yeah. Where else do you use your LBO, Ben?
Any types of events. We've had a number of members recently posting how many leads they're getting from doing events or how many names and emails they're getting, not necessarily people raising their hand. A pretty standard go-to play for this is if you've got a booth that's some sort of wellness thing, people enter to win a free month of training or a free whatever. And the consolation prize for the person who gets second place is they win your LBO for $99.
Yep.
The catch here is everybody who didn't win first place wins the consolation prize.
Yep.
So if you have 20 people enter, 1 gets a free month, 19 get offered the LBO.
Yeah. I love that. And that way everyone gets offered something, right? Even if it's a chance just to buy something at a discounted price, that's still an offer of something for showing up and give you their contact information. And it's very easy for you to do because you already know what that offer is. There's already a landing page for it, right? It's easy to process. And so I think that's a great idea. Maybe I'll add one here, which is I think your LBO can also just be repackaged as like a challenge. Or some sort of game or a little clinic or something. You could say, for the month of July, everyone who comes in and does our 2 week trial for $99, if you come and actually do all the visits, if you come and do every, in this case, maybe it's, all 8 visits over 2 weeks, then you'll put your name in a raffle to win something or it's a challenge. Come and for every visit you get, you put your name in a raffle to win something. You can gamify your low bar offer. And then suddenly it feels like, oh, I'm going to join a 2 week challenge. right? Which is just for people who like the gamification of their health and wellness. That's just going to be different bait for different fish. It doesn't take much from you to be able to do that. Same offer, same landing page with like an extra line in it that says you could win something cool, and it's a small tweak, but it's a whole different motivation for people.
100%. Summit and Unicorn Society did, if you complete all of your sessions or a predetermined number of sessions in the LBO, they won another length of time, another 2 weeks for completely free. And like, is that the play you always want to run? Maybe not, because then you're doing 4 weeks for 99, but it is a nice way to, like, once people are with you for 4 weeks, they're probably going to keep going.
That's it. Yeah. And I think you said this one earlier, so I'm just going to repeat something you said earlier, but I think it's salient to say it again, which is you can also just repackage your LBO seasonally, right? That same 2 weeks for $49 or $99 can be your, your pre-holiday boot camp. It can be your, get fit for summer challenge. It can be your new year, new you thing. Right? You can slap a different coat of paint on this offer, give it a different purpose or intention or name, or and it can be reused in multiple different ways. And the reason this works is because marketing is all about getting people's attention. And the thing that gets people's attention is something they haven't seen before. Right. So if you just kind of rename and repackage and rebundle the same basic offer again and again, but that seems and feels new each time, that's what gets their attention, is that it seems like there's something that is available now that was not available before. Now I'm paying attention.
Yes. The example I use, which I think I'm stealing from $100 million offers from Hormozy, is diamond. Doesn't matter what time of year. Whatever, Christmas, Easter, New Year's anniversary, it's always diamonds are on sale. Like, it's the same shiny rocks and probably the same gold or whatever metal, but it's our Christmas sale. It's our whatever sale. And that gets the attention that is, if I'm thinking about buying diamonds around the time of Memorial Day, this makes a lot of sense. And people are typically anchored to those type of, holiday periods.
Yeah. Well said, my friend. I think these are all, I'm going to pat ourselves on the back. These are great ideas.
Honestly, get creative. They can all work. It's just usually a tweak in wording and maybe a tweak in price and maybe a tweak in length. And it's just all about how you position it.
That's it. Yeah. So for anyone listening, Ben, and maybe in the spirit of wrapping this up, for anyone listening who's just who has a low bar offer, but hasn't really experimented with any of the ways we've talked about kind of changing it up here today, where do you recommend they start?
Yeah. If what you've been doing is buy 2 weeks for $99, I suggest by changing the wrapping paper and make it time sensitive, create some urgency, create some scarcity, and try really like pumping some effort into that, because you've got to sexy it up, for lack of a better way to say it, to catch the people who might be interested in around that time. If it's the same old stale thing, it doesn't have the same appeal. Yeah.
Well said, my friend. I'll add one more call to action for all of you. If you haven't yet offered your low bar offer to people other than brand new leads, go try that. Offering it to former members, offering it to unconverted leads, offering it as an incentive for referrals. There's lots of ways to use your low bar offer, and we've covered a lot of them here today. So go try some. All right, my friend. Well, thanks for a great conversation as always, Ben. I really appreciate it. And dear listeners, we hope you found this valuable. I'll see you all in the next one.
Thank you.